Welcome to the Call to Action podcast with Nicole Magic, where conscious awakened leaders listen and action takers are rewarded. Join us for the insightful wisdom of today's special guest with an irresistible offer. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Nicole Magic with the Call to Action podcast, where professional service providers and strategists share their wisdom. We value everyone's time, and we're going to have a really good conversation here that's going to be all the meat and potatoes. So today I have special guest, Travia Steward, on this show from the Breakthrough podcast that she had me on as a guest. And oh my gosh, just stuff unfolded in ways in which we have never talked about before in that capacity. So we are going to be doing part 2 right here today. So Travia, come on and let us know just who you are and what you do so we can just dive right in.
Absolutely. Nicole, thank you so much for having me. You know, I've been looking forward to this. I was in Puerto Vallarta last week, but it was still on my mind, the continuation of our conversation, because again, we don't meet people like each other every single day to have this type of conversation. So thank you for having me on your podcast today. So I'm Travia Steward, and I'm a transformational breakthrough coach. And simply stated, as I help people, my clients, break through that gunk, that stuff, the restriction, the unconfidence, all those things that are barriers to creating the life and being the person who they were created to be, so they can step boldly into that. So I help break away all that stuff so you can be like, this is really the shit I'm really here to do. That's the work I do in the world. Yes.
I love it. So let's do a little recap, right, of last.
Yes.
So first, I'm going to say, before I do a recap with Travia, you got to go back. I'll put it in the description. Click the link. Go watch that podcast, because that tells my story that we'll be referring to and some miraculous things that had happened. Yeah. But we got into about, our breakthrough, my breakthrough. And today we're going to talk about your breakthrough. But in my breakthrough, there was, this near-death experience that triggered and cascaded all these activities, miracles, lessons, opportunities, and all these different things that just snowballed into, well, here I am today in this space of just amplified and exponential growth and impact making, right? And meeting other super people like you. Because I'm just going to say there's super people that are making super impacts, right? And stirring up the super stuff inside other people to step into their superpowers.
Yes, that's so good. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I'm so excited to continue this conversation. And so, guys, if you are listening to this episode right now, go back and listen to the episode 96 with Nicole. And so you'll hear her so powerfully delivered story. My goodness. It blew me away on a supernatural level. Loved it.
Nice. And, when we tell our stories, it stirs the stuff inside other people, the energy that's there that wants to be released. That's what we do. And that's why we tell these stories. It's connecting. And that's why, somebody's out there saying, Nicole and Travia, you guys do the same exact thing. Why are you on each other's podcasts promoting each other? Right.
Right.
Because that's what we're meant to do. We elevate each other. Who I connect with and who Travia connects with can be totally different people. Maybe we overlap some. Great, that's freaking awesome, because we get to touch lives together and separately. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and there's room for everybody. There's room for the two of us, because, I'm from Louisiana, and so we eat a lot of seafood, and when you watch the crabs, you put them in the hot pot, what are they doing? One tries to crawl out, what does the other one do? right? Pull it on down. Exactly. And so, I don't want to be that person. I want to help elevate Nicole,
Yeah.
that's what it's about.
Same here.
Yeah.
We elevate
Yeah.
each other, and it's like the higher we climb together, it is that I say it all the time is, I boost you up, you get up there, you pull me up, and then the same thing, it just keeps going up and up and up and up.
Absolutely. I
It's
love
like
that.
this positive Jacob's ladder.
Yes. I love that. Oh my God. So good. So good.
Right? So where do you want to start with your amazing story? Oh my God, like these are just mind blowing.
Yeah. So, I have to go back because so much of what makes my story happen in like 2017. So it really started with, I was a high school teacher for 24 years, and every August when it's time to go into a new school year, I was less and less motivated. Okay, what am I going to do to make this year fantastic? What am I going to do to one up last year? Oh, I've graduated 8 great acting students. It was this whole thing, but I found myself going, I can do this job unfolded. I was no longer challenged by it. And so I just found myself going, the old proverbial, is this as good as it gets? And so, but you know what? It's a paying job. You stay in it because, I'm nowhere near retirement, but I can do it. Right. So my mom was always someone who she knew who died because she read she would get the paper. The first section of the paper she read was the obituaries. And she would call in, and in about 6 months before, my mom lived to be 85, about 6 months before she passed, she was a diabetic. She was having some pneumonia, some white lung kind of issues. And so my mom was always a lady of few words. She didn't expound on anything. She thought I asked way too many questions. So I always wanted to get to know her better. So about 6 months before she died, I said, Mom, girl, you've lived 85 years, in 85 years, she had 5 kids, right? What are you most proud of? And she's like, oh, you asked too many questions. I don't know. I'm not proud of anything. I haven't done anything that's worth talking about. And she was serious. Like, she didn't say her 5 kids. She didn't say anything. She was dead serious. And so, of course, I then turned that finger around to myself and went, oh, well, what have I done? What mark, what legacy have I left? So now that put me on a quest of, I've got to do bigger things, right? And so I started, where does everybody go for information? They go to YouTube. So I started Googling YouTube motivational stuff. And I first ran across Brendon Burchard. Brendon Burchard, I went to his high performance academy here in Phoenix. It was on spring break. I was on spring break from teaching. So I went, I was there early with bells on, left late. I mean, just loved it. And Nicole, every day I just found myself just crying, bawling, like, I know there's more for me. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it looks like. I didn't even know what I was diving into. I just knew I was filled with these emotions and these parts of me that I'd never tapped into before, right? So I did that, and I was like, there's something in that, but I still don't know what it looks like. And so then there was a day when I was at the gym. I was working out, I was on the spin bike, and I'm like, I listened to motivational videos, Les Brown, all these people. And it just, out of nowhere, it's in silence. It's when you allow yourself to be free that I knew in that moment what my purpose was. My purpose, I didn't know the vehicle, but I knew that my coaching, my chapter for teaching needed to close. It was time to step in and serve people on a bigger scale. And that day on that spin bike, I pumped and paddled and I cried like a baby. And then, but again, what happens when you're ready to step into something? All the distraction, all the dissuasions come, right? Because then I was dissuaded. Oh, it's not the time. It is not the time. Yep, exactly. It is not the time. You need to wait till after. Wait till when? Wait till you replace your salary, all the things. And so I was like, yeah, I should wait. So then I started coaching. I got certified, started coaching and teaching at the same time. And then it was the beginning of 2020. Every year I go and have my well woman. And so every year I get, a pap smear. That's a lot of information. I have Good night. I didn't mean to go there, but I get
Part of life.
shit. Oh my
Mammogram.
God. Mammogram. Thank you. See? Yes. I get a mammogram, right? And so this in early 2020, before COVID, a month or two before COVID, I had gone to get it. And so my gynecologist was like, I don't know, I might be feeling something, but let's have you. I mean, we get it anyway, right? And so I want to back up just a hair because I drove to this high school for this second high school, the third high school I taught at for 15 years. On the right side of the road, Nicole, was on my way to school, was an MD Anderson building, with the word cancer scratched out. We've all seen that.
Yeah.
I would never look at it. I'm a turn of stone. I can't look over there. Don't let me get that cancer. If I even look at the building, I'm going to get that cancer. Oh my God, you can give me anything else, but don't let me get that cancer. All my life, somebody would say, oh, my back hurts. They found bone cancer. Oh God, I'm gonna have bone cancer. Like every single thing somebody told me, I was terrified of getting that cancer. So of course, early 2020, I go and have my mammogram and they're doing, let's just do an ultrasound. Okay, they've done it before, right? So they've done it. And she goes, I'll be right back. Oh, okay, I'm going to get dressed. Well, then she comes in with a man who is the radiologist. And the first thing he does is grab my hand. And he didn't tell me anything. I immediately started crying. And he goes, we don't know. It's fine. So I went back and had the biopsy. And I tell you, the results were delivered to my gynecologist, who feel like one of our best friends, my therapist, everything, like been through everything with the gynecologist. She pulled up, she scooted her chair, and she said, it's carcinoma, it's early stage, and you got this. I don't want to hear no bullshit, you got this. And of course, I'm just crying and crying and crying. She said, it's stage 0, you got this. And so we went back, we found another suspicious area because I know how my brain worked, right? Because I was cultivating that soil, Nicole. And so I was like, I don't want to just have a lumpectomy. I need you to get rid of them. But my oncologist was like, oh, that's overtreatment, blah, blah, blah. Well, they found another suspicious area that was like, oh, okay, this too may turn into cancer. And so the day the world changed, March 11, 2020, I had a double mastectomy. And that was the day we went into COVID lockdown. And I was the last surgery that day.
Oh my goodness.
Because, right, the universe said, because I was also going around complaining, going, oh, I really want to be a speaker, but I don't have a story, blah, 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 blah. And they said, okay, you don't want to quit your job? Okay, here you go. You say you want to do all these things? Okay, let me light a hotter fire under you. And so when I look back at 2020, the breakthrough was cancer happened for me. COVID happened for me. It was also the year that I quit my full-time teaching job and became a full-time life coach. So yeah, so that is the breakthrough story.
It's so funny that we share that same year of leaving the job and stepping fully into our coaching businesses. Had my business for 14 years, but I left February 7th of 2020. I had like 36 or 34, 36 gigs booked, speaking engagements. And within 2 weeks of me stepping into it, everything got canceled. And I was literally like, all right, I got this. Yeah. And you were just like that too. Like, I got this. That's freaking awesome. Exactly. Love that.
Yes.
So how did that feel for you? Because I want to like go back a little bit because you said cancer happened for me. Mm-hmm. Some people out there are saying, what the hell, Travia? What do you mean by cancer happened for me?
So here's the part that this is like you ask and you will receive, right? This is the deeper part of what I meant to do, right? So because I'm here to help people step more boldly into who they were created to be, for most of my life, I wasn't stepping into the person that I was created to be. I was hiding behind things. I was hiding my sexuality. I was hiding everything. For all of my life, I hated breasts. I thought they were big, they were in the way. And I just felt like, oh God, I just want them to just sort of be smaller and be more invisible, because the attention that I got from them, like guys would come up and it just, hey, how you doing? Just the whole time. And I just felt dirty. I felt wrong. I was like, they just, because they were big, And so I recognized the silver lining was that cancer happened for me because I was able to step into the physical body that I was more aligned with. Now, I didn't have a problem with breast. I just didn't want big breasts. So then the double mastectomy said, and my plastic surgeon was like, oh, let's do reconstruction. We can do the deep flap. And so he kept coming in with the silicone things, but none of them were small enough. No matter what he brought in, I was going to have a C cup. And I was like, no, can we go smaller? I need to go smaller. This is all we have. And then he's a male guy and he was, went to the gym and everything. And I looked at him and I said, give me what you have. And he did. So that's what right. And so it took me a long time to come to terms with that. I was working with Christina Berkeley at the time, and Christina in the coaching and the group that we're working with helped so much. And my partner helped see the silver lining in, no, this is what you have always wanted. And subconsciously, it was what I always wanted. So I was cultivating that soil again. So that's what I mean by it happened for me.
Yeah. And on so many levels too, right? Because there was the physical aspect, there was the emotional aspect of, stepping into who you are and believing in yourself. The whole, you had support behind you too, to help you realize you got this. From day one with the gynecologist with this information, this is nothing, you got this. And right. you're like, okay. And then the emotions that came up, you have to feel through those. You have to release those. That's why we cry. That's why we get all whatever, throw some shit around, get angry, scream, yell, smash some plates in a safe environment. Whatever.
Yes.
Oh, whatever you need to do. But get it out. And had a great conversation with somebody today, and he had one of those days. He was telling me, I just went out there and I was like banging golf balls one after another in the middle of a lightning storm. Downpour, lightning storm. He's like smashing them. Wow. But whatever it is that you got to do to release it, it's okay. Yeah. We're humans. We're meant to feel. We're not meant to suppress. Absolutely. And that's what I see, is that you just grabbed onto whatever. And you didn't want to be in the teaching career anymore. Every year it declined. And how does that feeling of like dread of the job and what's to come, and when you're not fully in it anymore, how does that feed into our dis-ease? Right?
Yeah. Oh,
so it was like compounding, the universe saying, yep, you want something? Guess what? I'm going to give it to you. And I'm going to give it to you this way, because you can't ignore this.
Yes.
Because you weren't listening before, girl. So I'm going to make it so you're listening now. That's what happened.
And I had no choice.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
When the universe says something, I'm like, okay, I've had enough.
I'm listening now. Okay, you got my attention. Yeah, so true. And then it just made everything like, once you actually take the step, then you go, what took me so long? Why didn't I do this 5 years before? I don't know one person who doesn't say that. But it's it's breaking through those barriers, it's stepping over it and going, you know what? It's a little scary. I'm in a whole lot of uncertainty, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is, can we try to describe that feeling? Because when you're in that space, there's so many people that are right on that fence, and I get asked that a lot, like, what keeps you moving in that direction when you literally want to like root in and dig those heels in and say, no, not doing it.
Yes. It was, because a lot of people are like, oh, I have these dreams, I have these visions. It was me imagining my life at 100 and all the things I hadn't done. So regret weighs tons, right? It was the regret that I was thinking, if I were to continue going down the same exact path I was going, I would be 100 going, why didn't I do it? Why didn't I take the chance? So I kept replaying, because for me, the motivate, most people are more motivated by pain than they are by pleasure, because I am motivated by, I don't want to have any regrets. I already had regrets that I had to reframe and rework and go, okay, no, everything has happened for a reason. I get to choose and I get to create. So it was that enormous weight of regret that whenever I said, oh, not now, don't do it now, it was regret. And then I found the ways to make it happen. It helped with support, that my partner was like, yeah, quit your job. Now, had I not had her along to be able to do that, it would have definitely been tougher. But you make it happen because of that pain, of that regret, Les Brown speaks about it so famously, of all the ghosts standing around your bed, the ghosts of the song you could have written, the play you could have written, the novel you would have written, who you would have become, the disease you would have cured, right? Those ideas, those things are brought to you. And if we keep living a life of complacency, we never bring those dreams to life. It was that.
Yeah, that is the regret. You being able to use the regret as motivation, like the projection of regret of that's not where I want to be. So let me do something different now, right? That regret feels like cinder block sneakers in quicksand, right? Just
yes.
It literally pulls straight down the core, like so that feeling is so heavy and so nasty, and that spans so much, like lifetimes, ancestry.
Yeah, it does. And out of that regret and that conversation with my mother came my purpose statement, because I 100% believe that my purpose here on this earth is to empower and inspire as many people as possible to live the highest vision of their lives without settling. I was settling. My mother settled. I don't want anybody else to settle.
I love that. So it's settled. Don't settle.
Yes, it's settled. I love it. Yes,
Let it be
it
so.
is totally settled. Yeah.
That story's awesome.
I wanna I was talking about how the soil cultivated, the dis-ease. I was unhappy in my job. I was unhappy with these things. I wasn't living up to my potential. And I kept seeing, even though I was a person who believed I saw the glass half full, a lot of times I saw the glass half empty, but I wouldn't admit those things, right? And so the story that you told on my podcast about you were fertilizing your soil as well. What are the similarities that you hear knowing your story? Now, hopefully people have gone back and heard your story on my podcast. Now they're hearing my story on your podcast. What do you think are the similarities to us creating that great, series of events?
Right. Yeah. And it's a series of fortunate events, right? Even though they come under this, like I always say, things are seemingly negative. There's never anything that's actually negative. It's seemingly negative based on your perception of it and what you choose to believe. So some of the things that I hear between our stories and across the boards with other people's stories is, there's this thing that happens that causes some dissatisfaction, right? And a limiting belief is a belief that causes your life to be something less than satisfying. So there's a belief subconsciously there that we're not aware of that's coming out. And we're living in this, mode that feeds
Yeah.
that, which feeds our fears. When you were looking at, I don't want that cancer. I don't look at that. Don't look at that.
Right.
It's like the basilisk. So appropriate, because I was actually just did a photo shoot, and I'm in an oracle deck, and I'm the basilisk card. So more on that
Okay.
at another time.
Yeah.
But it's like that. Like, don't look at it. Don't look at it.
Mhm.
And it's like, I'm acknowledging that it's there. Don't look at it.
Yeah.
What now? I'm avoiding. And this is what we do. That's the behavior of, I know it's there and I'm so afraid of it, but then I don't want to acknowledge it and face it. So I avoid
Yeah.
it, and I actually perpetuate this negativity around it, and I stuck
Right.
it somewhere in my body, right? Because what do?
Mhm.
We avoid, we procrastinate, we do something different that doesn't face it because we feel uncomfortable, and we temporarily will make ourselves feel more comfortable.
Mm.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So no matter what the story is, don't want to look at that. Don't want the cancer. Don't want the cancer. Don't give me the cancer. I think that's what you
Mhm.
said. Don't give me the
Yeah.
cancer. I don't want
Yeah.
the cancer. And what does the universe hear? It doesn't hear don't. It says, oh, you want that? Oh, let me give
Here
that
we
to
go.
you. Let me show
Yep.
you what I can do for you.
Absolutely.
Travia,
Yes.
I'll give you all the cancer you want. Do you really want it? That's the thing, is, no, I didn't want it, but I wanted something different in my life, right? So go back to
Mhm.
my story. I wanted something different in my life. It was less than satisfying. I didn't understand why in some
Yeah.
instances. And I was just ruminating on, like, I want my life to mean more. And I didn't know
Wow.
how. I felt stuck. I didn't know what to do. It was just day in, day out. Go to work, make the money, go home, take care of kids, do the thing, be a mom, be a wife.
Mhm.
And it was miserable. And then what do you do? And when you don't know what to do and you feel trapped,
Yeah.
whether it's in a job or in a relationship or whatever else that you've created for yourself, it's an alarm to say, hey, take another look, because there is a way. You're just not
Yes.
looking at it. You're avoiding it because you're like, I don't want that. Like, I'm not
Yes.
going to pay attention to that. And it's the thing that you have to face and pay attention to and get real and get raw about it.
Yes. That's so good. When you were talking, it made me think about, because I work with my clients all the time to listen for the subtle voice. When I was working with actors, if I would have said, Nicole, I need you to deliver these 5 lines as angrily as possible. Well, as a high school student, you probably would have gone, you son of a, and you throw something, because that's where their minds go, right? So it's this big obvious thing. And then I would always tell them, choose your second thing. What is a second thing that you're hearing that you should do? Not the first, right? And I often equate that to that voice. It's not that loud thing. It's the little voice going, hey, maybe you should quit your job. It's the little Michael Jackson voice. I go, oh, stop it. Keep doing your job, girl. Hey, it's that little voice that's sitting there going, hey, you know what you really want? It's a little subtle whisper. And so it's opening yourself. It's asking the question, what is it what is it that I'm here to do on this earth? And listening for the answer, but it's never loud, right? For me, it was never loud.
And it's like, you just
Yeah.
have to, sometimes it's just loud enough, but if you just stop, you'll hear it.
Yeah.
And if you're
Mhm.
avoiding it, why are you avoiding it? And just ask you, be that little kid that's like, why? Sometimes I actually
Yes.
get that voice on with my clients. I'm like, why? Because you
Yeah.
just keep going, go deeper. Why? Go deeper.
Mhm.
Why? And it's, if you keep asking yourself, you're going to get to this space where it's like, because I'm afraid of what? because I don't know what to do. And I feel like I should know what to do. You as a coach, you probably hear this all the time too, like I do, from our clients that are other coaches. I know how to deal with everybody else's stuff, but me in my
Right.
same position, I don't know what to do.
Right.
Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Those are blocks, barriers. Absolutely. Why?
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just, I'm afraid to be wrong. That's a human thing. I'm afraid to be wrong. Yeah. Okay. Get over your bad self. Right. There are ways to get over your bad self.
Absolutely. Because we're afraid to be wrong because we don't want to look bad. Right.
Yes. But who cares? Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm wrong all the time because I'm not, but I am wrong sometimes.
We are wrong sometimes. Absolutely. But you know what? We learn from it, right? Yeah.
It's like the fonts. Just stated myself there.
Yeah, but that's okay. I'm with you there. I'm with you. So good.
So good. And just in that space of moving forward, right? Recognizing it, because that is the first step. Awareness is the first step.
Yeah.
And once you create the awareness, you know what's funny? Actually, hang on, I got a tangent here, because it's funny when you have this awareness. And I love it when my clients come back and they've started the work and then they're like, get all on themselves, like, failed. Just, I failed because I got triggered and I went through with it and I could hear myself doing it and I knew what I was doing. I just couldn't stop myself. And I'm like, really? That's a bad thing? Because you took the step and you became aware. Before, you didn't know you were doing it. You just did it.
Right.
And it's like, oh, wait a minute. That was good.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm giving my star. Here it is.
Yeah.
Number 1 gold star. 4 more to go.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, that's freaking awesome. Because now you got this. You just proved to yourself you got this.
You got this. Exactly. And with awareness, we can now take different actions, right? We don't have to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just chose it. You had an awareness and you said, nope, I'm going to do this.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you. Free will.
Absolutely.
Next time, if you choose something different, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. We start breaking those paradigms, don't we?
Yeah. So it's like, you're not slipping, you're just moving. So go and move with your flow, right? And you don't have to, the analogy I was talking about with somebody earlier was, you don't just like teleport to the top of the mountain. You got to climb the mountain, because guess what? If you teleport to the top of the mountain, you can't breathe up there. You got to acclimate along the way. The only way you're going to acclimate is if you're traversing up there, doing the work.
Yeah. A little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
That conversation was with Steve Gamlin, and he's absolutely freaking amazing. So I just have to give that props to him. And like, I'm going to have him on this show. So we're going to have to like do some deep dives with that guy. And you might want him too, because it's just like mind blowing, like quantum time space continuum.
Wow. I will look for him. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. But,
I thought that was a great analogy, because, he started saying something like, yeah, because if you teleport up to the top, you can't breathe up there. And he's like, no, you got to do the work. You got to acclimate. So we were having this conversation. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's literally life. You get travelers along the way that they'll either help you because they know and they've been there, or they might misguide you because guess what? They haven't freaking been there.
Right.
If they're coming up behind you, they can't tell you where to go unless they know.
Right.
You don't know, they can't show you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I really like that analogy. Yeah. Makes so much sense. So much sense.
This time flies, so I guess
It does.
we've got to wrap up here. So are there any like final thoughts, words, whatever that you want to give? And then please let us know how to contact you, where to go. And I'm going to put your links and stuff in the description, but to all of this stuff. So
Yes, all the things.
all the things.
So I just want to close with whoever is listening right now, just start getting in touch with that small voice. And if there's any discomfort, disease, dissatisfaction in your life, we know that because what shows up in the mind has already shown up in our body. So our body tells us, oh, when I walk into this office, my chest gets tight, my jaw gets tight, my shoulders, whatever that is, that means we're out of alignment. So all I want to say is figure out where your happy spot is, where, what is it that you're here to do? Start listening to that, because so many people go to their grave with regret of what I didn't do, the life I didn't live, who I didn't become. And that's all in the identity transformation of stepping into boldly who you were created to be, because only you, only Nicole, only I have our very specific message that only we can deliver. Just like the people who are listening right now, only they have that message that they can deliver. And until they step boldly into that message will stay hidden. So yeah, that's what I would say. And if you want to know more about the work that I do, it's my name, traviasteward.com. That's my website. So it's TRAV as in Victor, IA, Steward with a D, STEWARD.com. And there you go. I also have a podcast that, again, episode 96, Nicole was on. Woo-hoo! So Nicole, thank you so much. It's always so fun to converse with you. Thank you for having me.
The connection that we made, I love it. I can't wait to see what unfolds continuously as we delve deeper and deeper into this stuff. Do you have any call to action for our action takers today? Free gift or something going on? All right.
I do. I actually have what is called a breakthrough guide. And so it's kind of helping you take back your power. And so the breakthrough guide is, first of all, it's a little bit of, do I have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? So, it's getting that awareness. Then it's going, okay, who's taking my power? What are some of those thoughts? So it's a little bit of a taste of the work that I do, that they can go and go, okay, I can do this on my own. I can do a little bit of this on my own. I can get a bit of a start. So it's a breakthrough guide. It's a PDF that, I think you have the link. If not, I'll send you the link and they can go and grab that. And absolutely, because I know that was something I did way in the beginning. I was like, I don't even know what any of this stuff means, but it just gives you such clarity as to, oh shit, look at my thoughts that are creating the reality. Because we all know, if you want to know what you're thinking, look at your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Look at the stuff around you. As above, so below, as within, so without.
I love it.
Right? And so, yes, I've got all of the links. Everybody that's listening, go into the description. It's all in there. Don't forget to listen to the other podcast, the Breakthrough podcast that I'm on with Travias, and all of the other episodes that follow next in the Call to Action podcast, where conscious, awakened leaders listen and action takers get rewarded. So who's going to be our action takers today? It's going to be you. Mwah! Love you all. Thank you so much, Travia. Such a great time.
Thank you, Nicole.
And till next time, we still have other things to talk about. So till next time.
Yes. Love it.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you for listening. I hope you found today's episode insightful and invaluable to elevating your own business.